Hey Met fans, Brian here, and this is the Mets Mayhem Recap Show. The Mets and Cubs played Game 3, the rubber game of the three-game series at Citi Field on Sunday afternoon, a Mother's Day Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms, grandmas, sisters, aunts, any other relative or friend who has stepped up and filled that role in someone's life. I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day Sunday, surrounded by your loved ones, and shown just how special you are. The Mets came into this game 25-15. While the Chicago Cubs were 23-17. Griffin Canning took the mound for the Mets, looking for his 6th win of the season. For the Cubs, the lefty Matthew Boyd. He's looking for his 4th win of the season. With the lefty on the mound, the Mets had Mark Vientos back in the lineup, but at DH, with Brett Baty getting the game off, Starling Marte served as a DH. As always, thank you for taking the time out of your day in advance to watch this video. If you want to support the channel, I would appreciate you liking the video and subscribing. But for now, Mets-Cubs, the deciding game of this three-game series at Citi Field. Let's get into it. Griffin Canning takes the mound at the top of the first inning, and man did he come right out the gate strong. Canning retired the Cubs in order in the top of the first inning, striking out the side. Pete Crow Armstrong struck out on a 2-2 fastball up, getting him to chase out of the strike zone for the first out. They brought up Kyle Tucker, and he swung and missed on a 2-2 changeup down and away for the second out, and Seiya Suzuki worked the count full before striking out on a down and in changeup, and that retired the side. Matthew Boyd takes the mound for the Cubs in the bottom of the first inning, and he came out just as strong as Canning did. Got the Mets in order, all by strikeout. Francisco Lindor leading off the bottom of the first, foul tipped the 1-2 changeup, held on to by Cubs catcher Carson Kelly. That's the first out. Juan Soto struck out an 0-2 slider down and away off the plate. And then Pete Alonso chased an 0-2 fastball up. And that's how the first inning ended. So Griffin Canning back on the mound, the top of the second inning. He's facing Michael Busch. And Busch falls behind 1-2 strikes. Then hits a slider to Taylor in center field. First out of the inning. Brings up catcher Carson Kelly. He falls behind 1-2 strikes. Takes a slider low. Evens the count at 2-2 strikes, fouls another slider off the plate away, and then Canning goes up and away with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, getting him to swing and miss, striking out for the second out. That brings up Nico Hoerner, 2 outs, no one on for the Cubs. He works the count to 2-1 strike. Canning throws him a 94-mile-an-hour fastball up in the zone, and he gets him to pop out to the right side, foul territory. Pete Alonso makes the catch, and that retires the Cubs in order again. Mark Vientos leading off the bottom of the second inning. He swings at Boyd's first pitch, a 93-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside corner. He pops it up to Nico Hoerner at second base, 1 away. Brings up Brandon Nimmo. He works the count to 2-2 strikes, and foul tips a slider riding in on him. Kelly holds on to it. Strikeout for the second out. Starling Marte, who's back in the lineup now, falls behind 2 strikes before Boyd lets a slider get away from him, hitting Marte, so it puts a runner on first, 2 outs. Luis Torrens was getting the start at catcher up, and he works the count to 2-2 strikes. He gets a changeup away, and he lines it to left center field. Suzuki's going back. Pete Crow Armstrong's coming over and going back. It splits them, hits the wall, kicks back towards center field. Marte scores because it's 2 outs. He's running on the pitch. Torrens rounds second. He hits the third. The throw's coming in. It's off the bag towards the infield. Torrens slides towards the outfield side of the bag. He's safe at third. His first triple of the season. Now that brings up Luis Acuna. He falls behind 1-2 strikes. And he hits a line drive into the right center field gap. But Pete Crow Armstrong flags it down easily. And that ends the second inning. But the Mets took a 1-0 lead. The Cubs shortstop, Dansby Swanson, leading off in the top of the third inning. He takes a first pitch strike on the inside corner. Then he takes a ball down and away. It evens the count. And then Canning goes back inside of a slider, and Swanson hits it up the middle off of Canning's glove. It slows down some, but continues towards the left side of second base. Lindor ranges over. He fields it, double clutches, but with Swanson's speed, he beats it out. Infield single. Brings up Justin Turner. He works the count to 3-1 strike. Draws a walk. So that puts the runners on first and second with no one out for the Cubs. Third baseman John Birdie is up. He falls behind 2 strikes. and then he flies out on a 1-2 slider right to Soto and right for the first out. The runners hold with Pete Crow or Armstrong coming up. They don't want to risk it. Canning falls behind him, 2 balls, no strikes, but he comes back to strike him out on a 2-2 changeup down and in. That's the second out of the inning. Brings up Kyle Tucker. Runner still on first and second with 2 outs, and he goes out the first pitch slider, grounds it to Alonso, tosses to Canning, who's covering first, and that retires the side. So Matthew Boyd makes quick work of the Mets in the bottom of the third inning. He gets Tyrone Taylor, who's leading off, to pop up to Michael Busch at first for the first out. Francisco Lindor lines a single to left field on a 2-2 fastball down and in, but he's erased after Juan Soto blisters a ground ball to first base. Michael Busch fields it, and he starts the 3-6-3 double play, and that ends the third inning. So Griffin Canning working in the top of the fourth inning. Mets are still holding on to a 1-0 lead. Seiya Suzuki leading off for the Cubs, and he grounds a 2-2 changeup to the right of the pitcher's mound. Canning jumps off the mound, fields it, flips to Alonso at first. That's the first out. Brings up Michael Busch. Canning gets ahead of him with back-to-back changeups, getting him to swing and miss at both of them. He falls into an 0-2 hole early. The count gets even to 2 balls, 2 strikes. But then he grounds a fastball to Alonso at first, who takes it to the bag himself. Second out of the inning. So 2 quick outs. Carson Kelly now up. The count goes to 1-1. And Kelly lands a 93-mile-an-hour fastball up and away, right to Soto in right field. Retires the Cubs in the top of the fourth inning. Bottom of the fourth inning. Pete Alonso leading off for the Mets, and Alonso falls behind 1 ball, 2 strikes before taking a call 3 strike on the outside curveball that looked off the plate, but it's 1 away. Mark Vientos up, and he pulls an 0-1 fastball to Swanson at short, tosses to Busch at first base. 2 quick outs. Brings up Brandon Nimmo, and Nimmo works the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes, and he lines it down and in fastball to left field for a base hit that puts runners on first. 2 outs. Sterling Marte, and Marte pulls a 1-0 fastball on the outer half of the plate, right through the left side of the infield, into left field. Base hit for Marte. Nimmo advances to second base. So the Mets have first and second, 2 outs. Luis Torrens, who drove in the only run of the game so far for triple. And Torrens jumps on the first pitch he sees, an inside fastball, lines it into the left field corner 10 feet or so from the fence, down the line at the 335 fence. But Suzuki makes the catch, and that ends the fourth inning. Top of the fifth inning, Canning is on a roll. He retires the Cubs in order again. He gets Nico Hoerner on a little dribbler out in front of the plate. Torrens bounces on it. Fires to Alonso at first base. That's the first out. Dansby Swanson swings at a 3-0 pitch. Down in the zone. Grounds out to Luis Acuna at second. Tosses to Alonso at first for the second out. I'm not sure what Swanson was doing there. 3-0, down 1. Should have taken the strike, but we'll take the out for sure. Justin Turner now up, 2 outs, and he grounds an 0-1 changeup away, pulls it on the ground to Vientos at third, who fires across the diamond to Alonso. 3 up, 3 down. Luis Acuna leading off the bottom of the fifth for the Mets, and he lines a 1-1 changeup away off the plate into left field, just over the glove of Swanson at short, for a leadoff single. So that brings up Tyrone Taylor now. He falls behind 1 ball, 2 strikes. Has to protect the plate, and he swings at a changeup down and away, pops it up to Michael Busch at first for the first out. Great pitcher's pitch. Taylor had to swing at it, just wasn't much he can do with it. So we go back to the top of the lineup. Francisco Lindor up, Acuna at first, 1 out, and Acuna gets picked off. Boyd catches him leaning towards second and nails him. So 2 away, no one on, and Lindor strikes out on a 1-2 curveball on the inside plate. Ends the fifth inning. So Griffin Canning facing John Birdie leading off the top of the sixth inning. Canning gets ahead of Birdie, no balls, 2 strikes, and gets him to fly out to Taylor in center field, 1 away. Pete Crow Armstrong up, 1 away, and he absolutely hammers an 0-1 fastball up and in. Pete Crow Armstrong turned on it, drove it into upper deck in right field, ties this game at 1. Brings up Kyle Tucker. He fouls off a pitch that ricochets and catches Torrens. Not sure if he was wearing a cup or not. Either way, that hurts. Torrens was down for a bit. Eventually got up, tried to stay in this game, but he had to be replaced by Francisco Alvarez. Hope Torrens is alright. So the count ends up going full to Tucker, and he grounds a changeup to Alonso, tosses to Canning covering, second out of the inning, brings up Seiya Suzuki, 2 away, and he grounds a down and away slider, pulling it to Vientos at third, fires across the diamond to Alonso, that retires the side, but the Cubs get one on a home run by Pete Crow Armstrong, tying this game up. Matthew Boyd facing Juan Soto leading off for the Mets in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Boyd is still dealing himself. He strikes out Soto swinging at a 1-2 fastball away off the plate. Then he gets Alonso on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball at the top of the zone that he foul tips but is held on to. 2 quick outs, 2 strikeouts. Brings up Mark Vientos, no one on. Vientos jumps on the first pitch fastball inside, and he gets all of it, pulling a high fly ball over the left field fence. Vientos' 5th home run of the season. The Mets retake this lead 2-1. Brings up Brandon Nimmo. Nimmo works the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes, and he gets hit by a sinker that gets away from Boyd. So that brings up Sterling Marte, runner at first, 2 away. But Marte pops up a 2-2 fastball down and in, right to Nico Hoerner at second. That retires the side in the 6th inning. But the Mets retake the lead 2-1 on Vientos' 5th home run of the year. Top of the 7th inning. Canning's done for the day. Reed Garrett comes on in relief. Garrett goes to a full count on leadoff batter Michael Busch and walks him. Leadoff batter on for the Cubs, puts a tying run at first for Carson Kelly. Garrett goes to a full count on Kelly as well, before Kelly grounds a sinker inside towards second base, slowly hit. Acuna fields it. His only play is to first for the first out, so Busch advances to second on the play. That brings up Nico Hoerner, 1 away, runner in scoring position. He jumps on a first pitch sweeper that was up and over the inner half of the plate, lines it into left field, just shy of the corner. It's a double for Hoerner. Busch scores, tie game at 2. So Canning will not get his 6th win of the season. Dansby Swanson's up, runner in scoring position, 1 out. He lines an 0-1 sinker right to Tyrone Taylor in center. It's the second out of the inning. And then Justin Taylor is up, but Gary gets him to chase on a 2-2 sweeper, and he flies out to Taylor in center field, retires the side, but not before the Cubs tie this game back at 2. So bottom of the 7th inning now. Brad Keller, who was the opener of Saturday's game, now on in relief for Matthew Boyd. Francisco Alvarez up, his first at bat since replacing Torrens, and he grounds a 2-2 fastball that's up in the zone, right through the left side, into left field, leadoff single for Alvarez. Luis Angel Acuna's up. He falls behind 1 ball, 2 strikes, and he grounds a ball to Swanson, who completes the 6-4-3 double play, tossing to Hoerner at second, firing to Busch, just like that. Runner erased from 0 to 2 outs. Tyrone Taylor up. The count goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Taylor's frozen on a fastball down and away. Outside corner, looking at strike 3, ends the 7th inning. So top of the 8th inning, Ryan Stanek now coming on in relief. And I mentioned in Friday's game that Stanek was likely going to be put in a higher level situations soon. Well, here we have it. Top of the 8th inning, game tied at 2. But Stanek strikes out the leadoff batter John Birdie on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball up and away for the first out, putting him away. That brings up Pete Crow Armstrong, who homered to tie this game at 1 early in the game. And Stanek makes quick work of him, striking him out on an 0-2 99-mile-an-hour fastball up and away again for the second out. Brings up Kyle Tucker, and Tucker flies out to Taylor in center field on an 0-1 slider, and that retires the Cubs in order. Good job by Stanek. So the Cubs go to their closer, Porter Hodge, in the bottom of the 8th inning, facing the top of the Mets lineup. Francisco Lindor leading off for the Mets, and he gets ahead of the count 3-1. He gets a sweeper that gets way too much of the plate, and Lindor just crushes it. Right center field, over the fence, 9th home run of this season. Lindor gives the Mets the lead back at 3-2. Crowd's just going insane. Juan Soto's up, first pitch swinging. He lines a 95-mile-an-hour fastball to Suzuki and left for the first out. Brings up Pete Alonso, and Alonso lines a double on a sweeper down out of the zone. Alonso has to go down and get it, but he's so strong that he's able to do damage on pitches like this. Lines it into left field for a double. It's Alonso's 15th double this season. He leads the league in doubles. Brings up Mark Vientos, and he jumps on the first pitch he sees again. A 94-mile-an-hour fastball thigh high, inner half of the plate. lines it up the middle into center field. Alonso rounds third, is going home. The ball's bobbled in center field. Alonso scores easily, makes this a 4-2 game now. So Jose Azocar comes on as a pinch runner for Vientos. The Cubs go to their bullpen. They bring on Gavin Hollowell to face Nimmo. And Nimmo falls behind, 1 ball, 2 strikes. But he catches the pitch at the bottom of the zone, gets too much plate, drives into right center field, over the fence, into the bullpen. Nimmo's 8th home run of the season, a 2-run shot. The Mets now have a 6-2 lead. That brings up Jeff McNeil, who's coming out as a pinch hitter for Sterling Marte. But he pops up to Swanson at short, second out of the inning. Francisco Alvarez getting a second at bat since replacing Torrens. He falls behind, no balls, 2 strikes. And he lines a sweeper up and away into right field. His second hit as many at bats. That brings up Luis Angel Acuna, 2 outs, runner at first. And Acuna grounds a ball, fielded by Hollowell, tosses over to Bush at first, and that finally ends the 8th inning. But not before the Mets hit 2 home runs, score 4 runs, and take a 6-2 lead. Top of the 9th inning. Mets lead this game 6-2. They were able to take the lead and add 3 insurance runs on top of that. Fantastic job by them. Brings on Edwin Diaz for the Mets. Non-save situation, but he's coming in here to shut the door nonetheless. Brett Beatty comes on to play third base after Vientos was pinch run for. Seiya Suzuki leading off for the Cubs. Diaz gets ahead of him, 1 ball, 2 strikes, and gets him to ground out to Beatty at third. Fires across the diamond to Alonso, 1 away. Looks like Diaz's string of having control issues with that first batter is gone. That was a great first at bat by Diaz to just get Suzuki out and not put a runner on base, not to give the Cubs any extra life, any hope in this game. So 1 away. Michael Bush is up. He goes first pitch hunting, grounds a slider weakly to Beatty at third base, fires across the diamond, 2 away. So the Cubs are testing Beatty, passing. We're 1 away from winning this game. So 2 outs. No one on. Carson Kelly's up. He works the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes. And he chases a slider off the plate. End of the bat kind of cue shot right to Alonso at first base. Tosses to Diaz covering. That's a wrap. Mets win game 3 and they win the series. Mets now move to 26-15. The Cubs drop to 23-18. Both Canning and Boyd were dealing. It's a great pitchers duel to watch. I personally enjoy those kind of games more than the high-scoring games. Runs were coming at a premium until the Mets bust this game open late. We'll talk about that and more, but let's get into the takeaways. The Mets' mayhem player of the game is going to be split again. Griffin Canning threw 92 pitches over 6 innings, allowed 1 run on 2 hits, walked 1, and struck out 5. He would have picked up his 6th win of the season had Garrett not given up the home run in the 7th, but Canning has lowered his season ERA to 2.36. Canning was just fantastic, striking out the side at the top of the first, setting the tone, and then setting them down 3 up, 3 down, again the top of the 2nd inning. He also got the Cubs in order 2 more times in the 4th and 5th innings. Garrett gave up the home run in the 7th inning in his only inning of work. His ERA climbs to 1.08, which is insane that his ERA went up to 1.08. He's had a fantastic season, just had 1 hiccup in that inning. It just cost Canning the win. Ryan Stanek came on, tie game, 8th inning. He responded. He struck out 2, got the Cubs out in order. He picks up the win. Diaz comes on to pitch the 9th inning. He shuts this game down. Non-state situation, but he did his job. On the offensive end, Francisco Lindor went 2 for 4. He hit his 9th home run of the season in the bottom of the 8th inning, which gave the Mets a 3-2 lead that they would never relinquish on the way to the 6-2 victory. Lindor pushed his season average up now to 301. Mark Vientos went 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. He had a home run, his 5th of the season, in the bottom of the 6th inning. He also had a single up the middle to stretch the lead to 4-2. Brandon Nimmo went 2 for 3. He scored a run, drove in 2 with his 8th home run of the season, a 2-run blast. Luis Torrens started the scoring, hitting a fly ball into the left center field gap that hit off the wall, tripling in the bottom of the 2nd inning before he had to leave the game after fouling off a pitch in another regions. Francisco Alvarez came on to replace him in the 6th inning, and he went 2 for 2. So the Mets win this game 6-2. They win 2 out of 3 games in this series. They take the series against the Cubs. The Mets move to 26-15. The Cubs drop to 23-18. The Mets will now start a 3-game series with the Pirates at Citi Field. David Peterson's on the mound for the Mets. He's 2-2 in the season with a 3.05 ERA. He's going to go up against Paul Skeens, the 22-year-old former overall first-round pick by the Pirates in the 2023 draft. Skeens is 3-4 in the season with a 2.77 ERA. I'll be back to recap this game, as well as provide any other noteworthy Mets news. But until then, Mets fans, let's go Mets, and once again, happy Mother's Day.